every year. Most of them are hunters, anglers, and hikers. Hopefully this video will help you be better prepared if you ever find yourself lost in the woods. It will improve your chances of surviving by demonstrating the most basic survival skills. It is not enough to know these skills, they should be practiced. Properly prepared, nobody should experience the trauma of being lost and not knowing what to do. If you ever become lost, remember the 5 most important elements of survival: mental attitude, fire, shelter, water, and signaling. Mental attitude starts before you even set foot in the bush. A big part of survival is how prepared you are before you leave home. By preparing and carrying basic equipment, you show a healthy mental attitude because you are admitting that yes, it could happen to you. Notify the authorities and leave behind a detailed travel plan with a reliable person. Check weather forecasts. Remember, expect the best, but plan for the worst. Take a knife, a tin can for boiling water, several means of starting a fire, extra food, a map and compasses, and a first aid kit. In over 2,500 interviews with lost victims, survival in the bush found that the will to live was the most important factor for survival. Some unfortunate victims died when they had everything they needed to survive except for the attitude. Others have survived incredible hardships with no equipment, but they possess the will to live. This is why attitude is so crucial. Even with practically nothing, a person can survive with the right attitude. We do not recommend going out by yourself, but if you must, make sure that everyone who should know where you are is going to be aware of your exact location and your estimated time of return. Remember to dress properly, take into account the weather, and double check all your equipment before you leave. If you find you are disoriented or think you should have already reached your destination, you may be lost. Your destination may still be kilometers away. Seriously consider that you might have to spend the night. The first thing you need to do is make a fire. Dry cattail fluff and birch bark should be collected. Collect as much as possible. Gather twigs as well as dead wood from fallen trees. Make a nest out of your cattail fluff and birch bark. You will then throw spark into it. When the birch bark catches, you should immediately start to feed the fire with twigs. Build very gradually to bigger pieces of wood. Make sure that you have gathered enough wood for a few hours. You will go through a lot of wood just keeping yourself warm. Fire is also for company. It keeps your mind occupied so that you do not panic about your situation. It also boils water so that you can have pure hot liquids as much as possible. You should also be eating everything you have on you because it's likely that rescuers will find you within 24 hours. That is, if you have left proper instructions behind. The fire also works as a signaling device for rescuers, so it's imperative that you have one and that you maintain it. Your shelter should be approximately 3/4 of the way up a hill. Locate a rock outcropping. It will absorb and reflect heat from your fire, making you more comfortable. In the winter, as shown here, you must dig down to the ground on one side of the rock. The temperature at ground level will be 0 degrees regardless of the temperature above. Use a piece of wood or a snowshoe to shovel if you have neglected to bring a machete. This is physical exercise that will keep you warm. However, you will probably get wet. If you have dressed properly, you will still be fine, and you can always dry your clothes out later. Once you have dug your shelter to the ground, locate some rocks to make a hearth. A rock hearth will ensure that your fire does not catch your bedding, and the fire itself will be self-sustaining once the rocks are heated up enough. Once your hearth is built, move your fire into it by whatever means. Now it's time to gather bedding and to construct the roof of your shelter. For use the evergreen trees that surround your shelter site. Cut down the whole tree and drag it to your shelter area. Remove the branches for use as bedding and save the poles for the roof. In the winter, you will need 40 to 50 centimeters of bedding after it has been compressed. Be careful when you are transferring your fire. It's easy to catch your bedding on fire. Have lots of tinder ready and blow on your fire to bring it back up to life again once you've transferred it. Have plenty of firewood standing by. Add boughs and bark to the roof of your shelter. The more the better. Leave a hole in the roof over top of the fire so that the smoke can escape and your roof will not catch fire. The tighter the shelter, the more effective it will be. Remember to have ample firewood close by. Have fire starting materials on hand, such as birch bark, in case you wake up and your fire is out. Most likely you will sleep very little. There will be sounds that you hear, and being alone and relatively defenseless, your mind will play tricks on you. Whether you love to hike or hunt, or for any other reason you find yourself in the wilderness, you should know all of these skills. Virtually the only way to assure yourself that you can do these things is to practice them. Your experiences in the outdoors should always be positive and fun as well. By taking a course in wilderness survival, you can greatly increase your chances of surviving in a wilderness crisis situation. Survival in the Bush Incorporated can teach you these basic skills and so much more. Take the time to learn them and lessen the risk of becoming a victim. Remember to keep a healthy mental attitude. Your mental attitude is what will keep you alive in the bush, even if you have nothing. Keep plenty of firewood and make sure you have tinder on hand. You will need it in the night. Your shelter should be tight and small to keep you warm, but not so small that it'll catch on fire. In the winter, water is not a problem. All snow is safe to drink once it is melted. Try to melt it in your can over a fire, and don't eat it, it'll give you hypothermia. Your fire can be used as a signaling method. If worse comes to worse, and searchers are nearby, you can always burn your shelter. Wilderness survival courses are offered through Georgian College in Barrie and Loyalist College in Bancroft.